Hello. Okay, here we are. So, Tom Fletcher, the Creakers, Chapter 12. Okay. Grunt, gruff, scratch, and sniff. Lucy looked up at the heavy washing basket dangling from the ceiling, then back down to the four Creakers. One more step, Lucy thought, and I've got you! She released the creaker trap. The skipping rope unravelled around the hanger and swished out of the wardrobe so fast she could barely see it whiz across the room in a great crash and clatter. The washing basket came crashing down from above, trapping the creatures under it and sending the rubbish they had collected flying off in all different directions. "No!" growled Grunt. "Ouch!" burbled Guff. "Get off me!" screeched Scratch. "We'll be trapped!" squelched Sniff. The Creakers cried out in panic, and Lucy leapt out of the wardrobe, heart ringing like an alarm clock in her chest. "It's the kindling!" grunted Croak. "We've been sneaking in the she be sneaking in the wardrobe." "What a trickster!" said Gruff. "Yes, a naughty little zratter!" Sniff cried, interrupting Scratch, who's boshed him on the head. "Oh, sorry." There they are. All to that. Grunt quickly took charge, plunging his black claw into the pouch around Sniff's neck and pulling out a pinch of their gold dust. He puffed it straight at Lucy, and all the Creakers watched eagerly as it swished through the air straight towards her face, as though the dust itself had a mind of its own and was reaching out with golden crumbly fingers. But instead of finding her eyes, the dozy dust just hit the tinted lenses of her swimming goggles and fell uselessly to the floor. Sniff gasped in horror and fainted in shock. No kindling, sorry child has ever fended off a dozy dust attack before. "You crafty little sprog!" Grunt spat. "Did you see that? The kinder's got freaky dust stoppers!" Gruff mumbled in panic. Scratch kicked Snuff in the belly. "Sniff! Sniff! It's me! Scratch, wake up!" "Up?" Sniff said, coming round. "She be a crafty little kindling. Listen," Grunt growled, glaring at Lucy. Suddenly he began clawing at the floor through the woven bars of the upside-down basket, which was barely big enough to hold all four of them. The other Creakers copied him, digging their claws into the wooden floor and scratching away. Slowly, the whole washing basket began to move across the floor towards the bed. It wasn't heavy enough to stop them, and with Norman knocked out with dozy dust, there was no one to weigh it down. Lucy gulped hard, swallowing her fear, and sprinted across the room. She jumped up onto the washing basket, pushing it back down again, trapping the Creakers underneath. "Let us out! Let us out!" the Creakers croaked. "No, I will not let you out," Lucy said with a nervous wobble in her voice as she crouched above these monsters. It was terrifying not being able to see what the Creakers were up to under her feet, but she didn't dare get down in case they made a run for it. As she peeked over the edge, the Creakers were hidden in shadow. Just their long, creepy claws could be seen as they scratched the floor. Lucy wished she could turn on the light, but the switch was on the other side of the bedroom. If only she had Norman's torch! She could see it lying on the bed next to him, but she couldn't reach it. "What's the kindling doing?" Gruff muttered nervously from below. "I can't see the rotter," groaned Grunt. "She be screeching out for something," croaked Scratch. "She be stretching out for something," croaked Scratch. "She's got a bright! The bright!" Sniff cried in pain as Lucy flicked on the torch and shone it down through the bars of the basket, trying to see the Creakers up close. There they are. She is, with her goggles on, and there's a torch. Ooh, they don't like the light, do they? "Turn the bright off, you horrible little kindling! It be too hot!" Grunt cried, cowering away from the torchlight. Lucy suddenly caught a whiff of something horrid. It smelled like burning hair, all smoky and dry. She realised that the Creakers didn't just dislike the torchlight. It was hurting them, burning them. I'm sorry, Lucy said, switching off the torch right away. These creatures were awfully disgusting, but she didn't want to hurt them. No creature deserves that. Plus, the smell of their burning flesh was horrendous. Yes, that's nice kindling, gasped Guff, dabbing at the smouldering skin. Now, be lifting up the trap, and we'll be on our ways, leaving you and your friends alone, yes, he added, peering up at Lucy with his black eyeballs. Ella? Norman? Lucy said suddenly, remembering her friends. Gently she prodded Ella, who was lying next to the basket. Ella, it's me. Lucy, can you hear me? But Lucy didn't open her eyes. She was snoring happily in a blissful snooze. I wouldn't try to wake up a doll there, said Sniff helpfully. Not good to wake someone who has had dust. Makes them all messy in the noggin. Messy in the noggin? Had the dust... messy in the noggin? Had the dust... Lucy asked, confused. Yes, Kingling got right out with a bit of dozy dust, leaving it all nice and peasy for us to creak about. Ow! Groaned Sniff as Grunt elbowed him in the belly. Quiet, Bogbrain! You be telling the human too much, Grunt snapped. No, don't stop, said Lucy. That's why I've trapped you. I want answers, and you're not going anywhere until I get them. The Creakers went silent, and Lucy sensed them all looking at each other inside the basket beneath her feet. We not be telling the kinder a thing, she heard Grunt hiss firmly to the others. More loudly he added, We be waiting for more Creakers to come to free us. Then you will be in more heap of a trouble, whispered Scratch, threateningly with a sly smile in his voice. What other Creakers? Said Gruff, curiously rubbing the cannonball Tommy. I don't know anyone else be coming here tonight. Shut your mud hole, you mush-minding moron, grunted Bart. Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, them others, Gruff quickly said, trying to play along, but Lucy knew that now that no one else was coming. Suddenly, she had an idea. There was a way she could look at the Creakers. Her bedroom mirror. She quickly whipped round to face the wall where her full-length mirror was hanging, positioned perfectly to reflect those wicked creatures underneath. There you are, she smiled and put her hands on her hips. Hello, waved Sniff. Hello, waved Sniff chirpily before being elbowed in the nose by Scratch. Now I want you to tell me exactly what you've done with the grown-ups, Lucy said. No, huffed Grunt, firmly staring back out at her in the mirror. I want to know why you took them, Lucy said calmly. Lucy calmly explained. Not a chance. I want to know why you creak around our bedrooms at night. Can't tell the kid that secrets. And I want you to tell me how I can get the grown-ups back, said Lucy. Wailed Grunt, which Lucy remembered was a creaky way of laughing. Get the grown-ups back? That'd be impossible, you silly kinder. Lucy's stomach twisted at the word impossible. I'm not silly. Nothing's impossible, she said. Impossible isn't real. It's just you're in your mind. If you tell me where the grown-ups are, I'll march down into the wall and get them myself, and things can all go back to the way they were before. Oh, I'm afraid you can't be doing that, said Gruff, sounding a little more serious than he had so far. You see, Kinderling, your grown-ups aren't quite the same as you remember them. The Creakers started giggling, which sounded more like the way you gargle when you brush your teeth. What? What do you mean? Lucy said. I'm just going to show you them on the basket there. See that? Lucy said, starting to get a little panicked. What have you done to them? We, said Scratch. Not us little Creakers. Not Grunt, Gruff, Scratch, and Sniff. We be good little Creakers. We not hurting your grown-ups, jumped in Sniff. Then who? Asked Lucy, her mind racing to work out this riddle. It be the Walb, said Grunt darkly. The Walb doing what the Walb does. What does the Walb do? Asked Lucy. The Creakers looked at each other with wicked smiles. The Walb be changing them, said Grunt. The Walb be twisting them, said Gruff. The Walb be keeping them, added Scratch. Whispered Sniff. Chapter 13. Oh, hang on. Isn't 13 an unlucky number? It feels a little bit reckless to be writing a book about creepy creatures that live under your bed and then just whack in the unlucky chapter number like it's no... and then just whack in an unlucky chapter like it's no big deal. What if you read this chapter and then a creaker snatches you? I feel so guilty. Shall we skip straight to chapter 14? I think it's probably wise. You never can be too careful where creakers are concerned. But do you know what? I'm going to leave it for today because that's quite a long chapter. Okay? You'll have that one Friday. Okay? All right? Enjoying it. Oh no, what's happened to the parents? Oh, will she ever get them back? All right. Bye.